Hello and welcome to His Story. This is actually episode 8, if you can believe it. So I'm excited to have each and every one of you. The title of today's episode is Motherhood and the truth behind motherhood and the different stories that we don't always tell. So excited to have each of you just talk about your journey, introduce yourselves, really share from your perspective as a mom today and what you've sort of learned by watching your own mother as you were growing up. And even now, we're all grown. So just want to hear the different perspectives. Of course, like always, the whole impetus behind the podcast is to share your story, your version of your story, to connect with others, and really to release anything that we've just been holding on to based off of judgment, shame, feeling like you're alone. I believe that we're all interconnected. I believe our stories sort of are parallel with other people's stories. So excited to just have this moment, to just have this transparent and casual platform to hear from all of you. I've known many of you, each all of you, at least a decade, I would say, if not definitely close. Chantel, you may be the youngest mom that I know in the room in terms of our duration of our friendship, but I've spent so much time with you over recent years that I feel like, I've learned a lot about your story, of course, and your motherhood journey. So excited to just chat it up for a little bit. So if there's any brave souls in the room, whomever wants to go first, I'll say the one that's been the mom the longest. So Lisa, how old? Lisa's a grandmother, aren't you? You wear multiple hats. So, with all due respect, yes, please take the mic, and we bow to you as being the glam mom that you are. So, yes.
Thank you. Well, I am Lisa Bynum Fort. I have four adult children. My oldest daughter is getting ready to be 37, 37, 33, 27, 23. And I have four grandchildren, 15, 8, 6, and 4. And thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Um, Sharon.
I am Sharon McDonald. I have three children, 26, 24, and almost 20. So 26, 24, and 19. Um, yeah, it's been a journey. No grandkids. Not yet. We're good with that. But so far, just three adult children.
Perfect, perfect. Chantel.
I have two children. My daughter is soon to be 24, and my son just turned 14.
Perfect. I think in order of ages. So I am Kimberly Evans, founder and host of the podcast here. And I have a daughter who's 21 as of last Saturday. So, yes, excited to say that I have an adult child. So, yeah, y'all pray for me. I'll have to get some tips from Sharon and Lisa. Like, what do I do now? What do I do now? Just hang out with them.
Woo, this is only the beginning.
And everyone's like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "Pretty much the same, I guess." Yashika.
Mother of two, a 15-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter. I'm also a dog mom and a chicken mom as well. And I am doing the journey solo.
Okay. And Janelle.
I am Janelle. I have a bonus son. He just turned 18 a week ago. And then I have a 15-year-old and a almost 12-year-old on Friday. Oh, and I'm a dog mom too. He's about 6 months old.
Any other dog mom? Sharon, are
I'm
you a
a
dog?
dog mom. Yes, we were trying to get the dog cousins to play yesterday. That was a whole that was a whole nother thing going on yesterday.
Chantel, are you a dog
I'm a dog grandmom because I don't claim to be the owner of the dog. It is my son's dog, but yes, yes.
That's the status I want. I want a dog, but I don't want a dog. So I'm gonna have to be like auntie dog mom or something. Janelle, I know you have a cute little dog, so I need, and he's fly. Like your dogs stay fly, so that's more my
That's
vibe.
sad.
Equipped for the 24/7. I'm like raising a kid is enough. So hats off to all the dog moms in the room. All right, well, I want to I want to hear how you describe your motherhood journey so far. So in one word, how would you describe your motherhood journey? And it's a free for all, whomever.
Complex.
Complex. Why do you say complex?
Um, because it happens in seasons, at least for me. And so as I look back, it was complex with each child, and each child happened in a season and had their own season. And so, and now I'm in a totally different season because everyone is an adult and gone. So I say complex because over the past 26 years, when you're in that moment, it's not complex and you just embrace that moment, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. But in looking back, you see all the moments you've been through, all the journeys you've been through, and you're glad that you made it through. But sometimes you look back and say, how in the world did I make it through?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. After, like I said, was recently celebrating my daughter's 21st, looking back over that motherhood journey from day one. Yeah, it's I guess it's been full. Full will probably be my word. Going through a divorce and, living the single life and being a single mom, if you will, navigating co-parenting through that journey as well. So it's been a full journey. We hugged it out on last Saturday, so I feel like we can, right? We can move on to greener pastures now. But yeah, so complex, full. Chantel, it looks like you have
Um,
got a lot
yeah.
of words, so I want to hear it.
I would say if just one word for me, it would be wonder.
Mm,
Hmm.
Wonder.
sounds
Yeah.
pleasing.
Yeah, I think that it is a journey. I always tell people go with wonder because I feel like then you have no expectations and you're just going for the ride. I've learned very, very early. I had my first kid at 16, so I learned very early that life is truly what you make it, and my children's lives are just that, their lives, and I get to walk alongside them in their journey. So it's always wonder for me discovering them at every level and phase. And my children, they are full of surprises. So if I had plans for them, God definitely showed me his sense of humor. So just wonder.
Wonder. Yeah, and we'll come back because I want to know what it's like having an adult child and an adolescent, right? So you're mommying at different stages in your own personal life. So hold on to that question. So Janelle, you're in my top right corner.
I would say self-discovery. Um, this whole journey has been me really, really being tested and seeing what I'm capable of, and just really being able to like go within because you have these people that you have to carefully curate for the world, and you want to be very, very careful in what you give them. So it's been a lot of self discovery.
Mhm. Yeah, I've been on your journey with you. So
Yeah.
you're doing it well, Mom. You're doing it well. Um, Lisa, it looks like you're on. So
I was thinking I actually had two words two words for different seasons. My first season with my children was robotic
Hmm.
because I had four of them and I had to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Get up, get them something to eat, take them to school, go pick them up, go to work. So it was robotic for a very long time. And then as they got older, it became sensitive. because I had to care for each one of their characters because they're all four of them are very, very different. So I had to be very sensitive about how I care for them, how I talk to them, um, how I moved with them because it was very important because everybody couldn't get the same love out of me, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So robotic, you had a second word. You want to drop that?
Sensitive,
Sensitive. Okay.
yes. Hmm.
Robotic and sensitive. That's deep. Thanks for sharing. Yoshika?
I would say unexpected, unexpected blessings, unexpected moments of stress, unexpected moments of worry. And I'll say like unexpected moments when you recognize they're going through different phases, that they're not going to be babies anymore. The unexpected moments when you realize it's not going to be that picture perfect moment that I thought it would be when I decided as a young child that I wanted to be a mother one day. Unexpected moments of realizing like it is all still worth it.
Yeah, I know. I know. I think Mother's Day is the most celebrated holiday. Is that in the world? Certainly in the US from a retail perspective, and for good reasons. I think we're superhuman in a lot of ways. To Janelle's earlier intro, I'm also a bonus mom to three. Their ages this year will be 17, 14, and 10. So that's a new journey that I didn't necessarily have on my bingo card. I've been around kids my entire life because I'm one of six, and my parents fostered kids. So I saw my mom in different capacities, and I'm taking a little bit of that now and loving on other people's kids the way that she loved on us. And so, yeah, definitely a journey. Motherhood is certainly a journey, but I'm excited to kind of dive a little deeper into your overall experience. I want to know, how has motherhood changed you for the better?
I would say for me, my entire life, as early as I could remember, so I'm going to say probably early teens, I've always prayed for patience. I'm very impatient. I'm an air sign. When I make up my mind, I just want it happen kind of on the spot. And it's really been a struggle. And I feel like with children, whether you want to or not, patience is something, it's going to stretch you. It's going to require patience and understanding, slowing down and listening. My children, I feel like they say your kids will give you tenfold what you put out. And my kids are very, very headstrong and extremely opinionated. So much so that doesn't matter that I'm, and we all go through this. It doesn't matter that you're their mother. It doesn't matter that you have life experience. None of that. They have their minds made up. And I think I just was really impatient and really rigid at first raising my daughter. And I learned with her growing that, patience is going to be required. Your children are people. They are not your projects. They are not your reflections. They're not going to be what you want. So I said I prayed my whole life for patience. My daughter introduced me to it, and my son keeps me humbly rooted in it. So I appreciate the lessons, and I think they've come to help in each season that's needed. But definitely, I'm more patient than I ever imagined that I could be.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Sharon, you're smiling hard. You're on mute.
Mute. Okay, there we go. I'm smiling because, like Chantel, I prayed for patience from the time that I was pregnant with my first child. I still continue to pray for patience. And I think that the way the Lord is dealing with me, my patience comes from waiting for the patience because I am still usually on 10. But I will say that motherhood has changed me in the sense of living in the moment. It's made me a stronger person in realizing that you can do anything and that you are not a product of where you come from, even though you are a product of where you come from. It's double sided. So I think that in my children, I see that anything is possible, and so I think motherhood has given me a perspective I never would have had if I didn't have one, two, and three.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's beautiful. I want to come back to your statement around being a product of your childhood or of your environment. So I'll circle back to that. Lisa, how has it changed you?
You're on
You're,
mute.
let me unmute you.
Sorry. Motherhood has changed me as far as when I looked back at how my mom mothered me and my siblings. I'm the only girl and I have four brothers. So how she mothered us, I used to always say that when I have children that I would never be like, I would never mother like her. So when I had my children, that's what I went off of, and that's what changed me. And I just asked my kids today, so we're all in a group chat, but for some reason they think I'm their friend in this group chat. So I asked them, I said, I'm going to do a podcast today, and so what is something that I could have changed? Would you like to see with something different? I'm not even going to tell y'all what they said, but it was a reflection of how my mom treated us and raised us. Not bad, but it's just like, for example, like my mom used to yell all the time. Like everything was high pitched yelling. And so when I had my children, of course, that's what I did because that's what I knew. And when my kids say, "You yell so much," and what, I had to stop and reflect and like, dang, I'm doing the same thing my mom did. So going through those processes, seeing what my mom did as a parent, that she did her best, I wanted to do better for my children.
Yeah, I think we all do. I think looking around the room, yeah, we are building on what we saw and what we experienced with our own moms, be it good, bad, or indifferent. We're building upon that foundation. And I want to hear what you would do differently. So I'll come back to the room with that. Thank you, Lisa. Janelle.
The first thing that came to mind was like Sharon said, learning how to be in the present time, but it's more of I learned to let go of control. I used to always, like, I grew up watching my mom. Everything had to be in her control, and it wasn't it she just frazzled, and I was the same way for a little bit, where I wanted my middle child now, he has ADHD, and I remember just wanting to control that, like wanting him to be who I wanted him to be, until I just had to let go and just like, he is who he is, let him be who he is. And I feel like in that I learned how to be a better communicator. Like, that's what I wanted for my children. I want them to be men who know how to communicate through their feelings, through their thoughts, through everything. So now it's kind of like a double-edged sword because they tell me everything. Sometimes I'm like, it's a little too much. Scale it back. But I love that they can come to me and talk to me about anything, because I'm not gonna lash out because they told me something that I didn't like. So letting go of control and being a better communicator.
Yeah, yeah, because you're ultimately raising, hopefully, someone that's going to be your friend, and then ultimately take care of you. So let me let me
And my
manage
motto,
those issues.
sorry, one of my mottos was, I don't want to be the reason why they're in therapy later. So let me try to fix this now.
Yeah, you don't want your name coming up.
No.
Yoshika, thanks for your patience.
Yeah, I'm taking in what everybody else is saying, but it kind of made me think of, like, I once heard as a kid, when you're thinking about your parents, specifically your mothers, but they say, like, you've done your job as a parent if you've made your kids' lives better than yours. And when I look at my mother or my mother's mother, like, each generation has been better. Perfect, no, but better. So when it comes to my job of mothering, I know I've made many mistakes, and I don't mind apologizing to them, like, hey, maybe it really wasn't you that made me angry in that moment. It was something else. So maybe I was a little snappy. It really wasn't that big a deal that you didn't finish putting the dishes away or you didn't put everything away properly. So I think with my kids, I know I have done my best to love on them as hard as possible. And I'm trying to make sure Janelle said they don't end up in therapy talking about why they have whatever childhood issues that carried into their adulthood because I wasn't able to effectively mother them to the best of my ability. So
Yeah, yeah. Because I always tell you, I'm like, you are destined to be your kids' moms, right? Like, of course, we all are, right? Our kids, I think, have been assigned to us, but I love how you mother your two kids. I spent a lot of time with you. You're my childhood friend since the sixth grade. So I've been at the birth of your kids. You've been at the birth of my daughter. So we've seen the journey from day zero. And I think you do a fantastic job, and especially
yeah.
doing it, with the village that you have. Of course, it's beautiful, but certainly being the primary parent, managing a lot of different aspects. Hats off to you as well.
All
So,
right.
um, what are some positive characteristics did you learn from your mom? I know, Lisa, you were saying your mom would yell a lot. For me, my mom didn't take enough time for herself. And so I flipped that and probably OD'd on it a little bit. But I wanted to teach my kid that you can just sort of balance. You're not just a mom. Like, that will never change from the day that you are a mom. You're going to forever be a mom. But I also have, different masks that I wear. And that was important for me to find that balance. But what are some characteristics, some positive characteristics that you took from watching your parent and have enforced that into your own ways of parenting your children?
Sure. So a couple of positive attributes that I've taken away is I spend a lot of time with my children, my adult children. I probably spend too much time with them, but I spend a lot of time with them. Um, I allow them to be very open, that they can talk to me about pretty much about anything. Unlike Janelle, sometimes I'm like, hey, this a little too much.
You like people where you and your mom very close and spend a lot of time together?
We were close in a sense that I knew that she absolutely loved me, but because she was a single parent, she worked a lot. And so we were in the house by ourselves a lot. And so I'm like you, I flipped that and I spent a lot of time with my children.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was doing what she had to do, but and we appreciate all of our moms, I think, for the sacrifices that they've made. So I appreciate you sharing that. Jasmine is coming into the room now. I'm going to let her in, but Sharon, I want to hear what positive characteristics that have you gained from your mom, and that you also apply into your own ways of parenting. Let me make sure
Okay, I'm still unmuting. Do you want to wait for Jasmine to come in or just go?
she's coming in. I just want to make sure she gets in comfortably, and then I can manage it on the side. But yeah, let me hear from you.
Okay, so I'll go ahead. So I was thinking, and I'm thinking it's kind of going to be the reverse. So my mom was kind of like Lisa said, she worked a lot, so there was not a lot of time spent at home. So we were at home a lot by ourselves. However, I think that one of the things that I learned from her, number one, her work ethic, definitely, and that can be good, and that can be a detriment. And so one of the things I do feel like I learned her work ethic, but also because she worked hard and took care of other people, she didn't take care of herself. And
Mhm.
so in seeing that, I feel like now I make it a priority to take care of myself because I know what happens if you don't take care of yourself. And that's physically as well as mentally.
Mhm.
So, work ethic and then taking time for yourself because if you don't take time for yourself, you don't have, you shorten the time that you have here for other
Mhm.
people.
Yeah. Pouring from an empty cup for sure. Sheik, I want to hear from you because you guys have the same
With the
mom.
same mom, right? I would say definitely part the work ethic, which again, double edged sword. Like my sister's a hustler. I used to say she's Jamaican. She got like 20 million different jobs. There's always something else where the streams of income are gonna always be coming in.
Yeah.
But same, but in the positive way, I'm very self reliant. I'm very independent in doing things for myself, but almost sometimes too independent. Whether it's I'm growing my food, I'm cooking my food, I'm paying for my food. I'm gonna cut the grass when the battery in the lawnmower
And I
doesn't
let
want
her
to
have that.
charge.
She can have all of
I'm
that.
gonna jump the motor on that. If a tree needs to be cut down, I have 4 saws. One of my gifts, maybe 2, 3 Mother's Day ago, was a table saw from her. She was like, "Well, you have all the other ones. Like, well, you can go build this and you can go build that." And I'm like, "Okay." At first, I'm like, "Too much." Now I've used it so many times, and it's a very handy tool. But again, sometimes I do want to live like in my soft girl moment, but I'm like, I don't feel like I'm allowed to sometimes, where if it's something that needs to be done, I don't rest. It's constant go, go, go. So I would say, Kim, part of my deciding to focus on myself was because of you, because it was never the healthy balance of stop, time out, take time for myself. My mother is 71 years old. She just came in the house maybe an hour ago from planting 20 million different things. I saw her with the wheelbarrow. So it usually is me saying, like, hey, you've been out here for hours, go stop. So again, definitely a double-edged sword, but it can still be other things as well. Like, I didn't know we were economically challenged probably until I was probably 12 or 13 years old. She made Christmas, different holidays, like very special moments. There was always like you get to open your gift on Christmas Eve. On Christmas morning, there's 20 million gifts underneath the tree. So she always worked really hard to make sure we had those type of moments.
Mhm.
Yeah. We got to take the good with the bad, right? But yeah, you're gonna get the job done. So Sharon, I mean, when she fell from the tree, I said, "Oh God,
That hurt.
gotta
That's
find
a
her
good moment.
something." Like, girl, why are you trying to cut down a tree right now?
And she's frugal. So she's taught me, like, why pay somebody else to do it when you can do it yourself. So I'm finding
So
that
you
balance.
don't fall from the tree.
I learned a lesson on that one. I don't climb on my roof to clean my gutters anymore. That was another one like I'm good on.
I mean, I think this could be a part two of really talking about what we need to unlearn from. And I know that's tough, right? Because we are sort of reared to just respect the ground that we walk on. And yes, we do. I think most of us in the room. And I no longer have my mom, my adopted mom who raised me as her child, here with me. But there are some things that I have certainly done differently, without any regret. And she has told me that probably if times were different for her, she probably would have followed, some of the same patterns that I've established for myself now as a mom. But Janelle, I'm gonna hear from you.
No, I totally agree. I feel like we were all living parallel lives, or our moms all took the same class, but whatever. My mom, I would say her independence and her work ethic too, because I remember being as young as 6 years old, going to class with her and seeing all her books across the table. And then when she actually graduated from nursing school to become an RN, like me and my sisters always seen her hustling and, teaching us, the importance of work ethic, even just her independence too. Like I always watched my mom, she always had all the tools if she did it herself. So now I'm the same way. Like I'm sometimes hyper independent, where my husband's like, oh, you're being an independent black woman again. But I'm like, I don't have time to wait on you. Like I'm just gonna go ahead and get it done because I know how to do it. So I'm the same way, but I think those are all strengths. Like I now I lean on him a little bit more just so he can feel important. But for the most part, I'm glad I could do it myself. Like I don't have to wait on someone to help me, or I'll look up a YouTube video real quick. But I think I got all of that from her.
Yeah, I think our moms taught us how to be independent. I think some of that's missing now in today's society. So we've sort of, overcorrected this issue. But yeah, I think I could still change a tire if I needed to. My husband would look at me like I have three heads, but just in case the day comes and I need to, like we'll get it done, because I think that's a cultural issue. Single moms Lisa, was your mom married? No, you.
My mom was married, but her and my dad divorced when I was two, and she never remarried. So yes, she was a single mom.
Okay. And Sharon and you, you never married, like never a dad in the
Married.
house. What? Oh,
Sherwood, remember Charles and Chris?
yeah, but you guys were older.
I
She
was
got married.
11 when
You
she
were
got married.
out the house or on your way out, right?
I was 11.
You were 11. Sharon, how old were you when your mom or
You
married?
were 11?
Maybe 12. I mean, I was like
You were
middle
like
schoolish
12 because I was like
age.
16. Yeah.
Okay, 16. Anything that you learned from her at that point in time that was different than what you knew from the
So
prior?
I was thinking, and it sounds like we all learned how to be independent women. But I wonder, I can speak for myself. I didn't learn how to be dependent,
Ooh, that's good.
meaning in a relationship, because I was so independent,
Hmm.
it took me probably 20 years to learn to ask someone to do, or my husband to do something for me, or to wait for him to do something. Once I got comfortable asking, I was okay, but it took a lot, and it took a lot for me to expect or depend to expect somebody to show up, because I was taught that I had to show up for myself and everyone else around me. So to have someone or to expect someone to show up for me, even if they say that they were going to show up, was very hard.
And
Yeah.
can I say, because she was going to college when our mother got married, and I was in the household, and it was not the most positive of experiences. And I saw when she did try to rely upon him, it was a disappointment. So it was more of like, why would I depend on someone when this could be the reaction? So, in me choosing to one day possibly remarry, I know like I'm going to have 3 or 4 messages from God and Jesus and the Holy Ghost telling me that is the one, because I would never want to introduce someone who I don't truly feel is going to be my partner, and I say partner strongly for the rest of my life. If I don't feel like I can rely upon you, I'm not wasting my time. So I have very little patience for anything that goes outside of the realm of what I feel like is going to be my forever person, because of the marriage that I did see with my stepfather.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Chantel, I want to hear from you. What are some of the positive characteristics that you have adopted from your mother's parenting? And then I think equally so, you will be the prime person to answer the next question, which is what have you forgiven your mother for?
Great questions. For me, I guess the one positive thing that I got is when my mom was healthy, she loved music and just loved to like dance and be free with us. And I think because I didn't get to see that part of her personality very often, it really stood out to me as joy. And I wanted to make sure that my children saw that side of me and a lot of it. So, one thing Erin says a lot, and I love it, is like, Mom, you're the biggest kid ever. And it's funny to me because if you saw my life on a daily basis, I don't even know where he sees that joy or personality, but I think because I love the music and I try to dance, that's something that's just really been like a part of us. Like, even if I'm rushing in the morning, I'm like, okay, pick a song and we're gonna dance and sing, and then I'm out the door. So I think that's the one positive thing that I really remember about her from growing up. So I tried to like, yeah, that felt good. That was a space that felt safe and fun around her. So I tried to know that if that felt good in all of that chaos, then that has to just be a thing that feels good. So I try to bring that into the home as much as I can. Things that I've learned to forgive, probably all of the things. So I'm also an only girl. I have brothers, and I'm right smack in the middle of my brothers. I was born knowing like my mother did not want daughters. So I think that a lot of just the basis of how I was raised, just everything was so much more disciplined and rigid for me. So I don't really feel like we had much of a like mother daughter bond at first. And plus, my mother, she was battling addiction. I was born with addicted and spent a lot of my childhood bouncing between my mother and grandmother. So I think just forgiving her for that, for her own challenges, her own addictions, her own struggles, and what that brought along with it was just a lot of instability and toxicity and abandonment. And it really left a space for me and my brothers to kind of just navigate childhood and figuring out life on our own, whether that be how are we going to eat or where we're going to stay, those sorts of things. And my teen years as a girl, I feel like that textbook, I don't understand it. I thank God for me and my daughter is totally different, but truly that tension between mothers and daughters and whatever that thing is. I feel like coming into young womanhood was just the worst thing that could have happened to my mother or myself. And I don't really know why, but just a lot of tension. And instead of being seen as a child, it was more like another woman. And unfortunately, with drug addiction and dependency and all of the things that come with that. You know, it was definitely abuse and things that occurred in my household that my mother was certainly aware of and just for whatever reasons could not be a parent. And I think her own desire for love or relationship or again depending on this person financially just really left me extremely vulnerable. So I was out of the home early, and yeah, it's just been a journey. But as I get older, later this month I'll be 40. I very recently had a conversation with my mom. I was like, "Oh, I remember when you turned 40." And you were a hot mess. Like, I mean, we laughed about it. We laughed about it a little bit, and I told her, I was like, you know, the thing is, you were our parent, you were a person, but we were your children, and we were just in tow for all of it. All of it. The good, the bad, and the very, very ugly. Um, as I shared with you, Kim, there were years where I just didn't talk to my mother. But I, you know, as I drew closer to God, my prayer was that should she become clean, then I could forgive her. If you couldn't become clean and then all of this was just because of an addiction and just really poor decisions, then what is there to forgive? But if you could really fight your way to your own salvation and building your relationship with God and yourself and self forgiveness, then who am I to not forgive you? So, I forgive her for all of the things, all of the things. But forgiveness does not mean forgetting, and I have to remind myself and everyone else of that first. I can forgive you, which means that I don't carry any ill will. I uplift you in the light of God and I hold you there. But I also know that you have to be accountable for the things that you did or didn't do. And that's always a work in progress. So,
It's always a work in progress. And if you haven't heard Chantel's story about her journey with her mom, it's on the website. It's on Spotify, so you can check it out. It's really really powerful because I know you ended up in foster care and like in all the things, but it has led you to the work that you do now with so many moms and teens. So so God makes no mistakes, and we're all sort of healing from so many things. Um, my biological mom, my parents were 17 when they conceived me, and so I was immediately put up for adoption. But most of my forgiveness work was with my grandmother and not necessarily my mom, because she was, yes, she was a child, she committed an act, but my grandmother gave her an ultimatum: it's either you or the baby. And my mom was headed off to college, as well as my dad. And the story goes that my dad's family was willing to sort of keep me in the family and just sort of make it work. And my mom's mom, my grandmother, was about to enter into a new marriage. And obviously, having a child with a baby out of wedlock was not on his bingo card or not on her bingo card. So immediately, so I entered into foster care. And then the second foster home. I was adopted by the age of 7 months. And so I found out when I was 7, and then the forgiveness had to begin then, because of course you're like, why did you give me up? What was wrong with me? And all of that. I met her when I was 20, and she's still a part of my life. She was at my daughter's birthday party last weekend. But I watch my mom, and I see her having to work on forgiving herself. That's the work. So I try not to add to that. And I think I've, certainly have forgiven over the years and moved on. I just work to sort of pour into her, because I can't imagine, like, she gave birth to me and wasn't allowed to hold me because the rights had already been approved that she would not be my mother. And I can't imagine that terror, right? I can't imagine that trauma that she probably still has to work through. But all that being considered, yeah, motherhood is the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Janelle, what have you forgiven your mother for?
Woof.
Yeah.
Um, really, I had as I'm in my own journey, I have to realize that, a lot of what I'm experiencing with my 15-year-old is me experiencing it for the first time. Whatever phase we're in, like, that's my first time going through it. I don't know what to do, so I'm trying to figure it out. I had to forgive my mom in that sense of having that type of empathy for her, because, the latest revelation within our family, um, it caused me to be very angry with her.
You have to
Huh?
share. You have to share for those who haven't heard your story on the podcast.
So a year and a half ago, I found out that my oldest sister, I grew up thinking that I had a different father, grew up and found out my oldest sister's father is actually my biological father. So that a lot of that just so much came with that, of just like shock, anger, sadness, for the little girl who grew up without a present father, watching my sisters grow up with theirs, having to be the one to always be with my grandmother. So at first I was really angry because I felt like my mom wasn't taking accountability. Um, and we didn't talk for a little while, for a good 6 months over it. And then finally I just had to get to a point where I had to realize, at the end of the day, my mom, even though she didn't have the help, she still took care of me. She still did her best. And all three of her daughters have graduated grad school. We are doing our bet, like, because of her. And I just have to learn how to love her for who she is and where she's at. And then I also had to take into account that she was young. Like, this mistake happened in her 20s. I know how many mistakes I've done in my 20s, and hers just came to bite her. But I had to learn to forgive her, and knowing that me and my older sister were her first time going through that, was her first time experiencing, a love lost and having a child with this person and having to navigate that through by herself. So I just had to look at it from a lens of just like being empathetic and understanding that she was human. So all the things that, even like the other things that came along with it, not spending as much time with us, like, I had to just push all that to the side, and just like, at the end of the day, she took care of y'all. She did her best, and
We have to be
it
grateful
was
for
what it was. I have to be
it.
grateful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yashika, because your mom actually lives with you, so you
So I
guys,
kind of like her, yeah.
yeah, get to continue this intimate mother-daughter relationship, somehow, and call it a non-traditional way, in the sense that, you guys spend every day together. So,
With I'm on the first, she's on the first floor, I'm on the third floor. We got space between us. But no, my mother definitely wasn't always the perfect mother, but I give her a ton of grace knowing how she grew up. She was born to a 16-year-old mother. She was raised by my grandmother. She suffered mental, physical abuse. So I just look at it as, did she always meet my needs? Absolutely not. I look at how my daughter talks to me about every single thing. She will come home and ask for advice on things. She talks openly about puberty. I never had that connection with my mom in that way. But I just look at it as, I believe she loved me with 100% of what she could offer me at that time. Was it always enough? Absolutely not. But I believe she loved on me as hard as she could.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it only makes sense, Sharon. What have you forgiven your mother for?
I think I have forgiven her for not being the mother that I expected her to be. And that is because she was not equipped with the tools to be the mother that I expected her to be.
Yeah,
I grew up
you two
in the
probably
80s.
had a different mom, right? In the sense that you guys are how many years apart?
We're 4.5 years apart, but
Okay.
we
That's
have
kind of,
totally different experiences.
yes.
And yeah, um, I think growing up, I guess late 80s, early 90s, you wanted the Claire Huxtable, but Claire Huxtable came with a whole, I mean, number one, she's not a real person,
I didn't
but
realize
she
that.
came
I
with a
realize that's
whole
true.
different background. And so, growing up expecting that perfect person to speak to you the way that she spoke to her kids and to handle things the way that she or the people that you see on TV or even the families that you see out and about, but you don't see in their homes. And I don't think that she, in hindsight, she had the tools given to her by her mom or her grandmom to be that person. And so I don't think it was necessarily fair to expect that. Um, and it probably took me 40 years to realize that.
I mean, I think it was fair, right? You're only going off of what you see and tapping into how you feel. So I think it's fair, but I think, yes, now that you're older and wiser, it's not realistic to hold her to those standards, for sure. Lisa, forgiveness. I got you. Hold on. You're still muted.
Uh, can you hear me now? Okay. Forgiveness was very hard for me because I didn't like to forgive ever in
Okay.
life.
You have changed. You're the softest, warmest person I know.
Kimberly, it wasn't always like that. It was not always. I had a pretty rough, no, I won't say rough. In my early 20s, I was a victim of domestic violence for like 7 years. So it changed a lot in me. So I never wanted to forgive anybody for anything. But for my mom, I'm going to piggyback on Chantel. When my mom was in her maybe like late 50s, maybe early 60s, um, she was using drugs. And I found out and I was devastated and I tried to talk to her and, do all kinds of things, but it just didn't work. So she started really spiraling and being very disrespectful, come in my house, cuss my kids out, cuss my husband out, cuss me out, and to where I had to literally call the police to put her out. And so I didn't talk to her for about 8 months. And then I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, who is now 23. I I think when she was about 8 months old, I mean the spirit just came upon me. It was like, hey, if I forgive you, you can forgive her. She is human. She we all make mistakes. Get over it. So I had to find her because I didn't know where she was. I had to find her and just tell her that I forgive you. I forgive you. Let's move on because the forgiveness was the forgiveness was for me to move on because I harbored so much anger that I really couldn't move forward and I couldn't see myself moving forward with her. I thought I was never going to speak to her again. I was over it. I was totally over it because if you have a parent, and Chantel could probably attest to it, if you have a parent that use drugs, it's a totally different. I can't even explain it. Maybe Chantel had the word for us, but I can't even explain the trauma that we go through, and especially a mother. It's so much trauma. So I had to really forgive her for that, and I did. I forgave her, and then I was over it.
Yeah. Nice. Chantel, anything to add?
Oh, no, I was just going to say it feels like a different entity. I think people don't understand, especially if you knew your parent sober and then in addiction, it's extremely traumatic because I remember the first time, and I think I shared this on the podcast. I remember walking with my mom in the neighborhood. This is in Queens, New York, and she's telling me, you gotta look over your shoulder, make sure you're protecting yourself. You gotta keep your head on a swivel. Basically, teaching me the rules of the street. And then we walk up to this apartment building, and she asks this guy, like, "Oh, let me get a dime." I'm like, "I got a dime, mommy," and gave her a dime, right? A coin. And I remember even the guy that was serving her, like, "No, you're gonna have to come back later. Like, this is just too fucked up. Excuse my language. Like, this is just, it's too much." And I remember that stuck with me because I never understood. I didn't understand what the disconnect was about that. And then I got older, and then when I start dating D boys, I'm like, oh, this is what that meant. And but even though I didn't know what it was, I felt a sense of unsafety. Something was very wrong here. And I think it's the idea, Lisa, right? Like, this is my parent. Like, you are the safe one. You are the responsible one. You are supposed to be the protector. But not only aren't you, you'll put me in a position. And
Hmm.
I very early learned that more often than not, I was the protector. I was the one that needed to make sure that if she was high, the doors are locked, no one knows, the outside doesn't know what's going on inside, those sorts of things. So, yeah, it just requires a lot of forgiveness in ways that I think the average person's mind can't even stretch to imagine because it's abnormal, it's unusual.
Yes, the abandonment, the like you said, the taking care of, trying to make sure they are safe, and it becomes a burden. It becomes a burden. So it was a lot.
I feel like we're destined for a part two. But it sounds like many of us have been moms before we were actually moms, right? Protecting and sort of making sure the house is good when perhaps your mother was unable to or didn't have the right tools to do so. So with that, with Mother's Day being a week away, I want to hear about how you plan to pour into yourself, because whether it's adult kids or bonus kids or grandkids, we're still pouring into those cups, into those bank accounts, right, Karen? Right. And so, we still have to replenish, our well. So I want to hear how you celebrate yourself. I know some of us kind of wait maybe for the spouse or whomever to kind of do the thing, but I think it's important to really kind of own that space and really honor yourself as a mom, because no one knows what we're going through, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I just want to hear, how you plan to celebrate, if you thought about it so far. Anybody traveling? Anybody doing anything?
Well, I'm going to get a
Well, travel,
massage.
not travel. She said, "Give me
I'm
something."
sorry, Shan. I'm going to get a massage.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve a break.
Yeah.
Get two.
How about that? I don't do much to, I guess, celebrate myself for Mother's Day. I know Friday night my husband came in and he said, I have a Mother's Day gift for you, but it's coming tomorrow. And I was like, I said to myself, it better not be pants, because I had just said the day before that I was going to buy pants. So I thought he had jumped ahead and bought the pants. And I'm like, look, pants are not a Mother's Day gift. Don't buy me any pants. But anyway, so Friday morning, I'm sitting at my desk, and I think that I hear the door open, and I'm like, Marcus, I thought he had walked the dog, but he had flown my daughter home for Mother's Day. So she's here until Tuesday. And then Saturday, we'll leave with my oldest son and my mom to go see my youngest son be baptized. So for Mother's Day, we'll be visiting and he'll be baptized. So that'll be my
Wow,
celebration.
that's awesome. Congratulations, job well done. Good job, Marcus. Give Marcus my
Yeah, he
kudos.
did good.
No pants, but
And
Shantae.
good job, Sharon, because right, like, we are not me moms. That is not a
No,
gift, right? That's
no.
just something for the house. For me, for Mother's Day, every year I've been getting myself a new fragrance. Like, I try to find something that I've wanted for a while and get that. and also a book. I love to read, and I feel like reading is my silent protest against parenting sometimes. Like, this is me time, even if I am here. Please don't talk to me. I'm reading. So, yeah, I try to just take some time out. I've been blessed. My children, they really do it big for Mother's Day for me and my husband as well. So, but to Kim's point, I think it's important that I celebrate myself as a mother also. So it's always the perfume in a book.
But Chantel, that's so funny because it looked like you smell good.
Uh, thank you.
Absolutely. Janelle, what are you doing, darling, next Sunday?
Oh my goodness. So the one that's turning 12, he was born on Mother's Day weekend, so it's his weekend too. So I have to be on mommy duties. Taking him with one of his friends to Charlotte because he plays soccer. He wants to go to a Charlotte FC game. But other than that, I feel like Mother's Day is every day. Like, sounds so cliche, but I make sure to take my time, like my time for me, because there was a point where I feel like I was so engulfed in being a mom because that's what I watched my mom do. She just poured her all into us and didn't really do anything for herself. So I try to be different, and whatever chance I get, Janelle's out of here because my sons know boundaries. Like, I'm not just your mom. Like, I gotta be mean for me, and so I'm not doing anything this weekend because it's his birthday. But I'll find some other time
Yeah.
for sure.
Don't worry, buy yourself something. Yashika, what are you doing for Mother's Day?
When you asked that question, I immediately was like, what am I doing? Like, I can't think of anything. And I'm like, I know my daughter because she's big on gifts are her love language, and she a holiday cannot pass without her doing something. But for myself, more than likely, I'm gonna be in my yard planting something, or working in a flower bed, or working in my garden. I get like extreme joy out of checking off a to-do list. I want to walk out my back door and feel like I'm walking into the Garden of Eden. So I'll be in my yard uninterrupted. I'm not cooking anybody anything, but I'm gonna be working in my yard.
I love that. Give it back to Mother Earth. Yes,
Yes.
Before we get off, let me give credit to my husband because he gonna be like, Sharon shouted out her husband. Let me give credit to Travis. Travis plans on cooking dinner. He's gonna do a whole spread. So I don't
I
forget
think I've been to your house for Mother's Day. He grills out or whatever. So yeah, he be looking out for the moms on Mother's Day. So yeah, shout out Trav. Shout out.
How about you, Kim? What are you doing
I
for
don't
Mother's
have any plans. So Mother's Day is obviously really interesting now that I don't have my mom here with me. This is year 7. So I have just navigated the previous years very differently. I will see my daughter on Saturday. I will be taking her to get her first designer piece of jewelry, which is actually a part of her birthday gift. And so I will just sort of get my cup full from, that experience, my cup full and my bank account less full. I'm still in the throes of just celebrating that milestone. And my husband just kind of sort of waits for me to tell him. We both have lost our moms, and so we just sort of just navigate the day as it comes. I'm feeling like now I want to go and maybe grab a bite to eat, maybe brunch, and just spend time with him as his bonus mom wife, right? And so more to come around what that looks like. But my time with my daughter is a part of the gift, and I'll just take the day as it comes. But yeah, this is a Mother's Day gift. Thank you all for being on, sharing your story. I look forward to part 2. I really want to kick off like a wives conversation, wives and wives to be. Yashika, you can stay. We'll keep you in the room. But with that, before we go, I just want everyone to just take a deep breath, really honor yourself, give yourself a hug, celebrate yourself for Mother's Day. Like in this moment, this will air actually on Mother's Day, but I think we have to just first honor the work that we do each and every day. And by doing that, I think it's worth a deep inhale. That felt good, right?
Day? Yes.
I know y'all got some kids to go take care of right now or something, but I thank you for your time. I love you. Happy Mother's Day to you all. Keep up the great work. And until next time, be well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.